Hello and welcome to episode 192, all about the LEGO Lord of the Rings video game, being the 192nd part of That's What I'm Talking About. Hello, my name is Mary Clay. If that's too complicated for you, just call me MC. I've been experiencing the world of Tolkien for the first time, and I've gone just about as far down that rabbit hole as I want to at this point. So now I'm doing whatever I want, including the LEGO Lord of the Rings video game. Joining me once again is Silmaremily. Welcome, Emily. I almost said welcome, Simile. Welcome, Emily.
The only thing that rhymes with my name. Thank you. I'm so glad to be back.
I'm excited you're here to talk about this video game. Because I had like talked about it in some previous TikToks or something, and I think you had left some comments being like, "Oh, I have like fun, like yes. I enjoy this game a lot. I have fond memories of it." So I'm glad we can connect over it.
Me too. Get into a little bit more lighthearted version of Tolkien, considering especially the Silmarillion chapter that I had, which was of Beleriand and its realms.
Oh, Jesus.
Which you hated. So
I mean,
this will be a little bit more.
No, never mind. I'm not. Silmarillion is in your username. I'm not going to ask you if you love that.
Don't want to add me to the new better do better beef that you apparently have. So
I have no beef. He has it with me, and I'm just like la di da. I'm playing the Lego Lord of the Rings game. I posted on the Talking About Instagram page, which, by the way, listeners, if you don't, you should follow it because then you can participate in stuff like this. I asked a question on the story asking what kind of topic episodes would people like to hear. I'm kind of done reading Tolkien, but like I'll still, do so. I want to do like some topic episodes here and there as well. Probably I will intersperse some topic episodes in between playing the Lego Lord of the Rings game. I would love to complete it, but I feel like it'll take me longer to play it than I will have time to like record on a weekly basis, So I'll probably need some episodes in between to like cushion that IRL playtime. Anyway.
Yeah. Don't want to rush it. You want to enjoy it. Take your time.
Someone suggested doing an episode about the maps of Middle Earth, and I was like, "Oh no, I don't think you're a listener."
Do you know
of this
me
podcast.
at all?
Because there are a lot of people who follow the Instagram account for the dope memes.
They are really good.
And have no idea that it's related to a podcast at all. And then there are some people who like just found the podcast and they either like are starting with current episodes or they're starting all the way at the beginning. So like they don't have context for like everything that I've talked about. Anyway, but yeah, someone was like, you should do the Middle Earth maps. And I'm like,
ooh.
No.
Not around here, partner. Not around here.
Before we talk about the video game we were talking about before we started recording, the Rivendell, the infamous iconic Lego Rivendell set that just recently was released in the past couple months, and that I made a TikTok about complaining. I mean, it wasn't like coming at specifically Lego or coming at this set.
People came for you for that one.
It was just it's just capitalism rearing its ugly head yet again.
Why are you defending this corporation? Like they don't got it out for you,
right? But I was just complaining. I'm like, this is really cool. The majority of fans will probably never have it because it's so expensive, and also. For me personally, I don't think I understand Lego. Okay, so you have Lego sets. When you build them,
like I come from a Lego family. Like I have a younger brother, and literally every birthday, Christmas, and any holiday, you name it, when he was younger, and honestly kind of a little bit still to this day, he would always get Legos. Like I can remember childhood Christmases, he would probably get like 3 or 4 or 5 different Lego sets. Like that was all he ever wanted. And he's got like the Death Star 2 model. He's got the Black Pearl. He's got the walking AT-AT. Like he has so many Lego sets. So I kind of grew up, helping him with his Lego sets. And like my parents enjoy it too. Like now, Like he, for this past Christmas, bought my mom the botanical, like one of the flowers, and like,
Oh my God. Which, side note, do you watch Abbott Elementary by any chance?
I don't. I keep meaning to.
Oh, okay.
It looks so
Well,
good.
there was just a very cute little side plot where the characters that we want to be together, one of them gifted their current girlfriend the Lego flowers, and his girlfriend like didn't get it and was like, thanks, but like the girl that we all want him to be with was like, oh my God, what a dope gift. And it was just like such a
it's another reason they should be together.
It was just like a sweet little thing of being like of them both getting. That looks so cool. That's
I have a Lego orchid on my desk.
I understand that. What after you, and I understand
right, like after you build it, like what's the point?
I understand free building Legos, because like you're constantly, when you just get like a pack of a bunch of bricks and you know it's for kids to like make whatever they want, and then you take it down and you take it apart and stuff. So what do you do after you build the Black Pearl? Do you display it?
Yeah, so like the big sets that he has are displayed, and like now that we're older, my mom, there's sort of like location based ones. So when we go somewhere new, my mom will get like the architectural set. So there's like the 18 plus, which is what Rivendell is. 18 plus sets that she gets now.
Right.
That
Obviously,
are more like
these are the ones that are for adults, not for tiny children to
right. Like when I went to London, she bought me the London one, and like, but the sets that my brother had when we were little, I mean, it was mostly Star Wars, I think. But I mean, he would just play with them, and then gradually they would fall apart. And so we didn't ever like buy a random pack of Legos. He just always had like a box of broken Legos.
Sure.
And like minifigures, like something my cousin does is he'll like take like all the minifigure pieces, he'll like take them and make new ones and make spaceships. And so like when you're younger, like I think littler kids tend to kind of break the sets apart and then maybe rebuild. I think we've tried to rebuild a couple of them. Like he kept all the booklets, so we'll try to go through and find them. And like my cousin always calls me, I don't know if you've seen the Lego movie, but like Captain Business or Mr. Business or whatever the villain's name is. My cousin calls me that because I'm like super anal retentive about like wanting the sets to stay together, and like he will like put the minifigures together in like weird combinations, and I will like go through and like undo them and re-put the minifigures back in their correct like outfits and hairs and stuff. And he's like, "You're just like President Business, like you like craggle everything together." And I'm like, I just like That's it to be right as it is. But I mean, it just, I guess it just depends on the age and like, again, like how many you have in the original. Like the Death Star, we were like, that is never coming apart. Like we are keeping this. It's like huge. It is a display piece. Same with Rivendell. But like the smaller ones that he had, like spaceships and like little kind of smaller sets, I think most of those kind of came apart and are just in a giant box
somewhere.
Mixed Legos. Which I have to say, British people do not like it when you say Legos. It's just it's an American thing because it's Lego bricks. Like you don't pluralize the Lego. I was in like this whole big conversation about it. I had no idea that was even a thing. So if there's British people that hear me say Legos and are like cringing to themselves, I'm very sorry. It's just I've always called them Legos.
Yeah. It's not just British people, I will tell you. I think it's people who are very passionate, not to say that like you aren't passionate or knowledgeable about Lego. But I think people who are like really particular about it. I say this because old friend of the pod, Casey Winters, who was the very first guest on this podcast, is very into Lego, and he is one of those people who is
like
very particular about Lego versus Legos.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
I can't help it. It's just like it's just always what I've said.
For the purposes of these next couple episodes, I don't care.
I just feel like I have to preface.
Yeah, you have
if somebody comes and corrects me that I am aware that it is technically Lego
Lego
bricks.
is Lego, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So you and your mother got your hands on the Rivendell set, and you're sharing custody of it. Have you broken into it yet? Have you started building it?
Yes. So
how is that going?
We started it last weekend. So like my brother's in college. I live not at my parents' house anymore. And so like my dad and I's deal was like, which we like didn't tell anybody about this. Like my mom didn't find out till after we ordered it. Neither did my husband. My dad and I just kind of like were in little cahoots together, and we were like, okay, we're just gonna buy it. And he was like, send it to my house, and then everybody can come over and we can build it here. And then when the next time my husband and I move, whenever that is, he was like, after you move, it can come live at your house. So that was our deal. And also, since we're like a nerdy Lego family, I was like, we should build it together. Like, I know it'll take longer. Like, we'll have to do it in chunks, but I was like, I think it would be special since we're only going to build this once.
Hopefully,
fingers crossed.
Hopefully, it's just once.
Yes, that we all built it together. So we started it last weekend, and my little cousin, he's like 10 or 11, came over, and we let him sort of help. He was like, we did it in, there's like 3 booklets. So me and him took a booklet, and then my dad and my brother took a booklet, and just sort of started on, I think there's like close to 50 bags in it. Like you open the box and it's just like bags everywhere, like big bags, small bags, bags in bags. There's a box that has more bags in it. Like it is extremely overwhelming. It's very particular. There's a couple, like we both messed up like in the process somewhere, like realizing like you get to a step and you're like, why does that not fit? And then you have to like,
it's like putting together IKEA
your
furniture,
steps,
you know,
and be like, oh, there's like one brick in here that's one stud off, and you have to like figure out what you can take off to fix it. But it's there's like one moment where there's these like arches that like fit into the like lower level. Like, I was doing like the kind of like indoors part, and they were doing the like waterfall bridge part, and I got to build Elrond's little bookshelf, and it's just like all his little books in the bookshelf, and there's like a little bed. It's so cute and tiny. And they've really thought of everything, like with the Elendil and Sauron like ring like sword smashing moment. There's like a little sticker for that. And the moment when I like lined up these little archways, I was like, this is just so cool. Like I actually got giddy about it. I was like, this is actually really fun, and I'm glad that we did this.
I'm very happy that you're able to
partake,
and also like share that with your family. That's really special.
Sent it. I know some people got sent it, and I'm like a little salty, like jealous.
It's so funny when I see that stuff, because I will have a moment of being salty. I'll be like, why didn't I get sent that? And then I'm like, oh, it's because I made a video talking about how I think this is ridiculously overpriced and I really hate Lego. Or
I think it's just like above our follower, but at least my follower grade. I was like, I definitely don't have enough followers to be sent this free $500
I definitely
Lego set.
Yeah, I don't know about followers, but I have a feeling if they ever came across my profile and they're like, oh, let's see, like, oh, she stitched a video talking about this. Oh, that's so fun. What did she say?
Wonder what she said.
It's like a couple months ago there was a like special edition of the Silmarillion released.
I
and
saw
some
that,
people
yeah.
Got sent that for free as well as a gift. And I was like, why wasn't I sent one? And I'm like,
you're like, all my complaining.
I hate the Silmarillion. That's right.
Yeah.
Also, that's not all. Just like, I don't know, quick little disclaimer, side note. That's not to like to rag on people who do get sent those gifts, because that's like super exciting for our fellow creators.
I love it when I see my friends get sent stuff. I'm like, yes. But then also just a little bit jealous for myself. That's fine.
Understandable.
I'm only human.
Today, and also probably for the next couple weeks, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. We'll see if y'all want a bunch of these episodes, or if you're like, you know what, I'm fine with you just talking about it the one time. We're talking about and playing the Lego Lord of the Rings video game. I thought this was released, I mean, now that I think about it, it makes sense, because I have the game that I found in a secondhand store was for the Wii, and the Wii was in,
I had it. We had it on the Wii.
yeah. So it was in, 2006 to 2000 whatever range. So,
like
but I thought this
15?
had come out with the movies, or like around the time that the movies had come out, or shortly after. It didn't come out until November of 2012, which is when the Hobbit movies were coming out. So that was kind of surprising to me. I was like, oh, that's so funny that it didn't come out at the time.
Yeah. And I think it's the second ever Lego game where they talk, because I don't know if you played a lot of Lego games as a kid. I did. Basically, mostly Lego Star Wars is like my forefront memory about playing Lego games. Like, I would play that with my brother, and like that's like a good memory of our childhood together. And they didn't talk. They went they just like mumbled.
Yeah. This one came out, so let's see, what did I say, 2012? So all of the Lego Star Wars games and the Lego Harry Potter games had been released before this one. Okay, anyway, whatever. Okay, none of that matters. So this was out in 2012. It has, I was just looking up some like little stats or something to share beforehand.
Me too.
There are, I think, unsurprising for Tolkien, there are 84 playable characters in the games.
Quite a bit.
And then when it comes to how, it's Lord of the Rings. It's a 9+ hour movie trilogy, 1,000 pages. And the Harry Potter games were broken up into multiple parts. And this one, they're like, no, we'll just do it all at once. So the game maker said that their testers took 20 to 22 hours to go through it. But, quote, that's when you know the optimal path. The way that I play this game, I definitely do not know the optimal path.
Right, you get stuck and you...
Oh my God. And he says that it should take 40 to 50 hours to complete. So
this is like 100%ing the game, like getting all the mini
it doesn't even say anything about 100%ing it. It just says to complete it. So I
assume that's what that means.
It's even longer for 100%ing it.
Yeah. Wow.
Because you like really there are so many, and that's kind of like the brilliance of the Lego games, is that as you're moving through it, there are like these little puzzle pieces that you can only do with certain characters.
Yes. So you have to play the level twice.
Yeah. You have to come back to it when you have
and then
the
you
right
have to do it in free play.
Yeah. And so, like that's really like that's a really smart like gameplay element to get people to come back and unlock everything and try it again, rather than being like, oh yeah, you can come back and play it again, but like we don't have anything new to offer,
Yeah. No, it's like almost every level you have to come back in free play to get most of the like mini kits and bricks and stuff.
Yeah. And then of course like you can buy other characters, and like you can further like unlock stuff and build tools, or I think in this game they're called treasures or something, but there's like always more like customization you can do just beyond like playing and like defeat and getting to the last level,
Right.
This has a Metascore of 80 and a user score of 8.3. So generally a well-liked game for, being then again, like it's a Lego video game. It's not gonna, and it's also based on, one of the most Academy Award winning movies of all time, which actually that was another thing, is that this was the first time they were adapting an Oscar winning movie into a Lego game, was with Lord of the Rings. So I'm sure that was so like daunting for them to be like, hey, we're gonna do Lord of the Rings. It won like 12 Oscars.
Well, also then you have the book people, like as we've learned with especially Rings of Power, like adaptations of Tolkien are generally not received well. So I wonder like if contending with the like book purists that also didn't like the movies has any impact. There are a couple things that like they did do that aren't in the movies that are more book related that I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, they definitely had to it's funny you say that, because the creator, I was reading this like article that was like before the game was released.
Mhm.
And one of the creators was saying, like, just so you guys know, we can't just it's mostly based on the movies
Mhm.
because we can't just we're using dialogue from the movies, and if we didn't film scenes, you know, we can't just like magically create them. We're not going to call in Ian McKellen into the Lego studio.
You're like, what am I recording for again?
Yeah. So yeah, like we said, I was stunned when I started the game and like the prologue starts. I was expecting kind of like the Harry Potter Lego game where they're just kind of like, freaking Kate Blanchett starts narrating.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it's just straight from the movie dialogue.
Wait, what? I'm like, am I just watching Lord of the Rings, but in Lego? And essentially you are. If you and I'm sure someone out there has done it, if you just take all of the like cut scenes and put them together, I'm sure that it actually creates like a very a somewhat like family friendly, like simplified version
of
for like
the
little kids to watch Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings and not be, you know, scared by something or not be confused, you know. It's just like, oh, it's silly Lord of the Lord of the Rings.
It's a lot faster. They cut out a lot of, I mean, not a lot
it definitely
of stuff,
moves
but
a lot quicker.
There's some stuff I'm like, oh, they just totally skipped that part.
Yeah. There's the prologue, and then you play the first level is
the prologue
battle. I was laughing so much.
You get to be Elendil and Isildur.
You play is one of the biggest battles in all of Middle Earth.
Yeah, literally.
Oh my god, are we playing? What? Okay, press B to attack, which is B. Hang on. No, hang on, y'all. Let me figure out the. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I don't know what is B. I can't find B.
Like you fight a gigantic
Is it
Sauron.
called the Battle of the Last Alliance? Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yes.
So you're playing in the battle that you see briefly in the prologue of the movie. Yes, you play as it's kind of sad because like you play as Elendil and you're like, this isn't gonna end well. There's a part where like you're fighting Sauron and I'm like, why? He's just gonna kill me.
He's just kill me anyways. Like Second Age Elrond, like it's so I love it. It's so cute and like quirky. And then there's like the part where you and Elrond, or Isildur and Elrond, I guess, take the ring and you have to like fight your way up to the mountain. You're like, well, what's the point of this?
It was really funny going through that little level where they have the ring and they're going inside to destroy it. And I was like, oh, I thought this would just be like a cutscene where like it goes from like fighting Sauron to like going to destroy the ring and then Isildur leaving. And I was like, oh, I thought they would just like walk in and do it. And then I was like, well, one does not simply walk in to Mount Doom, I guess, you know. Definitely was brought back immediately to lots of like frustrating parts of my childhood, playing video games and being like, I'm trying so hard. Like, this isn't working. I don't know what to do. And granted, this is the first time I have played a game on the Wii in probably like 10 years.
Yeah.
So I was using, you know, the nunchuck and the Wii remote.
Oh my gosh.
And like trying to remember which button is called what. You know, it's a different layout from, you know, usually I'm playing on my Switch and that's a totally different.
I know. I looked up, I was like, surely they've ported this to the Switch and they haven't.
I saw something let me look this up because I of course literally just closed out of all of my tabs. But I saw something that was like they removed this game from their
it was
from their library and that like they're no longer
taken off of Steam for a while, but it's back on now.
Okay, that's good to hear. Yeah,
it's back on Steam.
On January 1st, 2019, the game, along with Lego The Hobbit, were both removed from all digital online storefronts and no longer listed on the Lego Group's website. But if it recently got put back on, then obviously, like, that had to have been some kind of like licensing,
Yeah,
I don't know,
maybe.
issue or something. Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe with that would have been around the time that like Rings of Power was starting up too. So I don't know, maybe Jeff Bezos
Maybe.
called him up and was like,
I don't
"This
know.
is my domain
maybe
now."
maybe they had to take it off because they're trying, fingers crossed, to put it on newer
Yes,
consoles.
which I am fully for, because
I
the
would love
amount
that.
of like glitches that I ran into.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, even the new Lego games glitch, like I
Yeah.
bought the Skywalker Saga on the Switch and played through it and completed it and everything, and I almost broke my Switch multiple times because it would glitch so badly. Like there was one
Oh my God.
time that I literally like multiple times I had to exit out of levels and like lose all of my progress and restart
It's the
because I would
worst.
just get stuck somewhere.
Last week I had played all the way through Weathertop and like beaten that level and everything.
Mhm.
And then it just like went to like a black screen and was like,
Oh, lovely.
never mind. And I was like, I guess I'll
Super
have
cool.
to play that again. Great.
Yeah. So it just so you know, it's not just it's a Wii and it's old. Like even new Lego games on
I guess
new
that's
consoles
just, you know,
are still doing that.
a part of the Lego game
the
charm, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you play briefly as Isildur and Elendil in the beginning, and then there's the cutscene, which is it's just so funny to me that I'm like, this children's Lego game. When I say like this children's game, that's not saying that adults can't enjoy it, but definitely these games are
the
meant
age
for
range.
like or the target audience is probably young children, but like this children's game has the best quote unquote voice acting of all time. Because it's just,
it's just
ripped straight from the movie.
Yeah.
So you have these like really intense scenes of Elrond yelling, Isildur! Is this going to be just... Are you kidding?
Destroy it!
Oh my god.
No.
Oh my god.
Isildur!
Oh, fantastic. And it's Lego Elrond. So, but that does allow them to take some other like editing liberties. I noticed there were multiple parts where like they take a line that a character says at a different scene and they like edit it into the Lego scene to either like
that too.
add a little bit of humor or to like cut down the scene time or something like that. So it gives them a little bit more opportunity to like play around with the story that they're telling in Lego Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And then we have more of the prologue of Galadriel narrating everything. And then we go into Bag End and it completely skips Bilbo's party. And it's just like Gandalf and Bilbo hanging out. And then Bilbo leaves the ring, goes to Rivendell. And right away, Gandalf is like, oh, Frodo, glad you're here.
Yep.
Here's the one. This is the one ring.
Yeah. And then they just immediately leave.
Yeah. And it like kicks off immediately. There's none of this like Gandalf going away to look up stuff in Minas Tirith. Like he's immediately, because Frodo accidentally drops the ring in his tea. And
that is how the words are revealed.
Yeah, it reveals, which is so funny to think about, like if that had happened like in the book or in the movie, like how much time that would have saved.
He just immediately figured it out.
If he's like, whoops, and it drops into his coffee. Gandalf is like, all right, I'll see you later. Have fun. Here's Sam. You guys go. And the next time you play is you're Frodo and Sam, and you're supposed to just like leave the Shire. There's like not like an action sequence or anything to do like immediately. But I was like, are you kidding me? This is the best day of my life.
I just get to walk around the Shire. Like I love the free play. It's not as open world as like the Skywalker Saga is. Like, but I think for the time that came out, I was like fairly impressed with how open world it was. Like I didn't remember as much of like walking around. Like obviously you get places quicker, like it's not as much walking, but I was like, oh, you get to actually explore a fair bit.
Yeah. That was actually one of the things that was mentioned in this article that I was reading, that they were talking about, like, oh yeah, this is a new exciting thing that you can do. You can, explore a little bit more, and we've, put puzzles and other stuff and hidden items around so that
there's like stuff to do not in the game, which, like, in my memory of like the first Lego Star Wars game, like, you had the cantina, like you were in the Mos Eisley cantina, and that's it. And like slowly over time, they've like slowly been making more. Like, I know there was like a Batman game where it's like you get to explore all of Gotham, and my brother and I wouldn't even play the levels. We would just drive around in cars and like chase each other. Yeah. Just like roaming around this like open world.
Yeah, it was the kind of thing where I'm like, sorry, Gandalf, like, I'd love to come meet you, but I have important business to do. And by that, I mean, I have to go wander around the Shire. And the best part is that it has the score from the movie playing in the game as well. So you're freaking playing around exploring Lego Shire, and Concerning Hobbits is playing. Do we get to play in the Shire? Oh my god, I'm never leaving. I'm never leaving. I'm never leaving. I'm never leaving. No, I will not follow the trail of guide studs. Like, what more could you ask for in life,
Honestly, nothing.
Then we have like another cutscene. You stumble into Pippin and Merry, and then the Black Rider comes, and this is your first kind of like
level,
yeah. You're hiding from him like a level below, and you have to like do all of these various things to distract him so that he like moves a little bit further ahead. Yeah. This was when it was the kind of thing where I was like, I don't know what else to do. And I was like just running around like hitting, break. That's the beauty of the Lego games, right?
Just break everything.
Break everything. Mm-hmm. And then like eventually a prompt would pop up. There's not nearly enough instructions. Oh, I'm just dumb. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. I don't know.
Right. Like it gives you those little hints at the bottom. Like if you walk up to something, it's like, Frodo can use his vial to light up dark spaces, or like Sam can use his trowel to plant flowers, and it like guides you.
Yeah. So weirdly, I don't know if they like intended it or not, and granted, I've only played up past Moria, so we'll see more later. But weirdly enough, Sam is proving to be the most useful hobbit that you play as, because like all the stuff, because he has his little spade, and so many times it's like you have to like dig up this thing and a flower will grow for you to jump on it, and and so I feel like a lot of times
definitely
I feel like a lot of times you have to I had to switch to Sam and being like, okay, I guess the other hobbits are just here for the ride, and I guess that's accurate for Merry and Pippin in general.
I'm trying to think if I don't know if Merry and Pippin have any like special. I think
so.
Merry fishes.
Yeah, Merry's special ability is that he fishes. I've so far only used it once. And Pippin in Moria, when he falls down the well, or he has
the water bucket,
and he comes up with a bucket, and I'm like, yeah, sure, that's Pippin's special ability. He has a bucket.
Pippin can get water from wells. I don't honestly know if you ever use that again after Moria. Frodo and Sam, like once Frodo has the Light of Eärendil, there's like dark caves he has to go into to like collect things.
That makes sense.
That, like
sure.
Other characters, like it doesn't let you in unless you have that out. So like Frodo, and definitely Sam, because Sam also does the lighting the fires thing with his little
that's the other thing. Yeah, it's like why is Sam the only? Why can't Aragorn, who's a freaking ranger, light a campfire? Like why do I have to switch to Sam?
Because they all have to have like
they all have to have their
special abilities. Make you change in the little wheel of all the characters.
Also worth noting that Sam's weapon for a while is his frying pan.
Yeah. Very Flynn
really
Rider
cute,
core
fun detail. Yeah. It cuts away to Isengard, where Gandalf is meeting Saruman, and you do play and have this battle between Gandalf and Saruman. And it's another kind of thing
all the
where,
like old wizard grunting.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's also what's really funny is that anytime your characters are hurt or like, you know, they're hit or they fall down or something, they have used the like real sounds from the characters in the movies. And so like when Frodo gets hurt in the game, it's actually like it's Elijah Wood being like, ugh, or something, you know?
They've like clipped out little sound bites to use.
Yeah. There's a lot in there for Frodo, I'm sure. Yeah. So, you play the little wizard fight, and then it cuts back to, I thought that was it was kind of like a weird thing where like you're in the midst of this scene, this level hiding from the Black Rider, and then it cuts away to Gandalf, I guess, to show that like this is happening simultaneously. Right. And then you finish the level with the Black Rider and you go to Bree. And there is a little Peter Jackson cameo in Bree.
He waves at you.
There's a little Lego person like hanging out on a fence and he's eating a carrot.
Yep. I freaking love it.
It's Peter Jackson. Oh my God, is that Peter Jackson? It's Peter Jackson. Oh my God, that's so funny. That's really funny. This was where I encountered my first real glitch where I was like, either I'm dumb or I just thought I was dumb, honestly. I was like, I'm missing something here. There's a little quest that you had to do.
The mithril trowel.
Yeah, you have to, someone in the village wants a mithril trowel. I'm sure the dwarves love this, that mithril is just like such a common
easily
element
accessible.
now that you can make
I was like,
shovels.
why does this random guy get a mithril trowel?
Right? So I went into the little blacksmith shop and made it, and then I could not leave. It like what the prompt like wasn't coming up for like the door to open, like nothing was happening. I posted a TikTok about it because I was just like, did I miss something? Am I doing something wrong? Do I not have the right character? What do I do here? And I ended up just ending the game. And I was like,
so
I'll
annoying.
come back to it later, I guess. And when I came back, I don't know how it ended up happening, but I came back into the game and I was no longer in the blacksmith shop, thankfully. But I had the mithril trowel already equipped. So like I had already made it. So I was like, I don't know how that happened, but whatever. That's fine. And
maybe it like auto saved while you were in there.
Yeah, I have no clue, no clue. But I was just like, this is if like this were the like string of events from that like Tolkien wrote, the way that like I am playing this, it's like, and for a full chapter, Sam and Frodo are just stuck in a blacksmith shop.
They can't figure out how to
like,
get
out. This is how Sauron wins.
They can't figure out how to get out of the blacksmith shop.
Can I leave now? How do I leave? Can I leave, please? I don't know how to leave.
2,000 years later.
Okay, I guess this is how Sauron wins, is with two hobbits trapped in the blacksmiths in Bree. So, of course, you meet Strider in the Prancing Pony later that night. It's really cute. They kind of had to, they had to make some of it a little more family friendly. And so instead of them drinking beer, they're having like glasses of like carrots. Yeah. And Mary's like, what's that? And he's like, it's food for the road. And he's like, I
thought it was like chicken legs. Like,
that's
like
it.
little
They're
turkey
little chicken
legs.
legs. Yeah, turkey legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not beer, it's like turkey legs.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed with the introduction of Strider in this one. It was very rushed. We didn't get any kind of like, lingering shot on him like skulking in the corner. I was like, oh man, that's disappointing, Lego.
Yeah.
I get it. If we're making a family friendly game, maybe I was just too sexy for them.
Yeah, we can't.
They're like, we have to tone it down.
Too hard over
There's
Lego
children
Aragorn.
watching.
Yes.
So then he takes, the hobbits with them, and you go to Weathertop, and there's a level where Mary, Pippin, and Sam, you have to gather.
Or just trying to light the fire to cook the dinner.
You have to gather the like ingredients and items needed to make their little breakfast.
Yeah.
That like in the movie, like Frodo wakes up and is like, "What's that?" And they're like, "It's toasted and tomatoes."
Yeah, they're like cooking, and he's like, "Put it out, put it out." No,
Frodo's
it's like a whole
idiot.
The whole part of the level is you have to.
This is a playable level.
Set up the part that gets the ring race to be attracted to them. Yeah.
I was like, that's very on brand for the hobbits, though.
Mm-hmm.
That you would play this part. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you are during this whole point. I don't know where Aragorn technically is, but you're playing as the hobbits. And just like running away, doing various, like puzzles and stuff to follow the pathway. Mm-hmm. And then you get to Weathertop, and Frodo puts on the ring. And this is kind of a cool thing where Frodo wears the ring and he becomes invisible. And you have to switch back and forth between him and Sam. And while Frodo is in, as like I've like called it sometimes, in like the upside down, when he has the ring on, he can access some items that Sam can't. And so you have to jump back and forth.
You have to build the fires to get the ring race away. But like some of the fires you can only build when Frodo does something in the Twilight Realm. And then you have to like switch back to Sam, and then he builds it, or he lights the fire. And like while you're doing that, you see little like outline of invisible Frodo like creeping around. Yeah. It's so cute. And I love the touch that like when you're Frodo in the Twilight Realm, you see the ring race in their like Twilight forms.
In their ghost form. Yeah.
In their ghost forms wandering around. And then when you're Sam, they're like
they're the Nazgul
cloaked ones. Every detail. Perfect.
Yeah. So you have to go around and build fires, and it's just so funny in parts of the levels that are like this, where like you're actively fighting an enemy, but it's like, hang on, can you pause for a minute while I build this fire?
Right, like they don't like you go to build the fire and you're like, oh, they're coming for me, and they just kind of like creep around you. Like they don't.
Although there were a couple times, so like I said earlier, I had played it once, and then it like froze and didn't save that part. The second time I played it, there were a few times where the Nazgul were too close as I was building it, and I didn't have time to light it, and they would destroy it, and then I had to like build it again. So I had to like a couple times draw them away from the fire, and then like run back over and build it really quickly.
Yes. I like how Aragorn has to like fend them off with the torch.
Yes.
Like, just like what he does in the movie.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's this first sequence where it's Frodo and Sam making the fires. And then Aragorn shows up again where he's been, I don't know. And then you have to do it again. And this is where like it gets kind of like annoying and tedious, where it's like I've built 10 fires by this point.
This game does do that a lot, where it slowly like ups the ante of what you have to do. Like it'll give you 2 to start with, and then you do those 2, and then there's like 4, and then there's like it did it in the prologue level with I think there's like some kind of orc thing you have to shoot at, and it's just like, come on, like I've already done this.
Yeah, it's like I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, build the fires. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So then the Nazgul are warded off. Frodo is hurt. In this little cutscene where he's hurt, Merry and Pippin are wearing medical masks, and they're carrying a stretcher all of a sudden.
And I think he gets stabbed in like his little arm, like in between like his armpit, like it's not his shoulder or whatever, because he's Lego.
Yeah, it's Lego. They carry him off, and then Arwen shows up, and I laughed so much at this because it's this Lego version of Arwen, but they're still playing it in this like dreamlike sequence that you see her through Frodo's perspective in the movie, where he's dying and he's seeing, he's kind of like in between worlds almost, and she's this like heavenly, creature come to save him. But now it's a Lego person, and like her hair is like flopping. It's just so funny to watch this play out as a Lego.
Yeah.
This was really annoying. There were multiple points where the load screen, it would be a cutscene, and then the load screen would play, and then like I would like play as Arwen on the horse for like 5 seconds, and then there would be another load screen, and then it would be a cut scene, and then it would be another load screen, and then it would take me back to a playable element. And then once you get to like the arrow that it's pointing at to get you to the next level, then like it automatically. So I was like, you could have just made all of that a cutscene. Like I didn't actually do anything. I played as Arwen on the horse
There's like
for 5
little
seconds.
like playable parts in between the levels that are like not free play, but they're not part of a level, and it's just like.
So the Nazgul, it plays out like in the movie where Arwen summons this wave and wards the Nazgul off, and they make it to Rivendell. I don't know. There wasn't I don't think there was any like thing super notable that happened other than just like it was just like a very like quick course of events. Like there was a lot of stuff cut out, like, but it's still like the general structure of like Frodo wakes up, Gandalf is there. Gandalf is like, I was delayed. And then there is a little cutscene back showing Gandalf escaping. And this was another point, I think, where I realized they had like cut audio from a different part of the movie and put it into a different part of the Lego thing, where like Gandalf is having this other interaction with Saruman that I was like, I don't think that's how it happens in the movie. I don't think Saruman is with him when he when the eagle comes. Yeah, and then again, kind of like a in-between playable thing where you're literally just walking from the bed from like Frodo's bedroom to the Council of Elrond. And you can like and I did go and explore and kind of like look around a bit, but at this point you just have the hobbits and Aragorn. And there were like a couple other puzzles that I was like, oh, I don't have these characters yet. And so then it cuts to the Council of Elrond. Sam is just hiding like in a flower pot behind Frodo.
Yeah. I think Merry and Pippin have like
I died.
Like
Merry and Pippin are
on.
just sitting in the meeting, but they have those little glasses on that have like the fake noses and the
fake
mustaches.
Noses.
Yes. And again, it's kind of a very condensed version of the Council of Elrond, because even what happens in the movie is a condensed version from the book. But
I think like Gimli tries to destroy it, and then Frodo says he'll take it, and like that's pretty much it.
You get these like very quick beats to introduce like the characters. You have the moment of Boromir being like, "Who are you?" and then Legolas
he is
going,
Aragorn, son of Aragorn.
That is
and you owe him your allegiance.
And then he goes, Gondor needs no king.
Yeah.
I'm like, what a serious, intense scene that I'm watching play out in Lego world. Yeah, and then they become the... Actually, I didn't even notice if they kept in the "you have my sword, my bow, and my axe." I can't remember.
I don't think they do. I think he just says like you're the Fellowship.
Yeah. So then again, like another cutscene to them leaving, and this is when I was like, they're pulling in extended edition scenes, because it has the little scene where they're leaving Rivendell, and Frodo goes, "Which way is Mordor, Gandalf, left or right?" And Gandalf has to say like left, which is like such a like cute, funny moment, you know, from the movie. But I was like, they got extended edition up in here. That's wild to me. And then you play it's interesting to me the things that they choose for you to play,
versus like what are cutscenes.
I thought that there would be more playable elements in Rivendell, and then I thought it would be like a cutscene to them at Moria, you know, or you know, getting
there's
to
like
Moria
a whole path of Caradhras
you
level.
have to play, where it was the exact reverse of my expectations, where you don't really play in Rivendell, and then you have this whole level on the path of Caradhras where you're this is where you first are kind of introduced to this playable character dynamic. I believe it only lets you have one tall character, or it might even say like big character, and then two little characters. So that's Gandalf, Legolas, and Aragorn versus Gimli and the hobbits. And you just kind of have to like, depending on what, abilities you need done, you just kind of have to like rotate through them.
Yes, because there's like, I think this is like trying to get you used to all of the characters. Like, for me, it makes sense that they would make Rivendell like an open free play area and not like a level. Whereas something like this, where it's like, okay, there's like opportunity for trials. Like, I especially love in this level the snow.
Yeah.
Because like there's a couple points where you have to either carry the hobbits through or Gimli and like throw Gimli. I love how you like throw Gimli.
This level introduces a lot of like very silly game mechanics.
Yes.
There are some snow drifts and the small characters can't go through them, and so Aragorn just has to like
pick them up.
But of course,
have to like
they're
carry
Legos,
them.
so it's not like they're like piggybacking or it's literally like him just like holding them up above his head, like
because
he's
it's too
a weight
it's
or something.
Too tall. They get stuck, and then you have to like get the snow. But I just love that
it's so funny.
The tall characters walk through it, the hobbits get stuck, and Legolas can walk on top of it. Like, it is perfect.
Yes.
It is they literally they thought of everything, like the little green leaf little kind of like places that show you where Legolas can jump, because he jumps higher, like
he's a lot
he
more
can
nimble.
jump higher than the rest of the characters, and like you use his bow to shoot things down or make little like stick them in the wall so you can jump. Like, it's just, I think it's adorable. I think it's so smart the way that they like adapt, like kind of all Lego game, like video games have those types of elements. Like, there's always a silver sparkly object you need a specific character to destroy. There's always a character that jumps higher than the rest of them. And I think it's just so clever how they're able to make it work in the universe of all the games they're doing. Because it's still the same formula, but it just works for each one of these kind of things that they're adapting. It's just, it's so smart. I love it.
Yeah. So you go through the mountain. I think this round I pretty much just played as like Aragorn, Gimli, and Sam. And then at some point I had to switch to Legolas. But yeah, I do just think it's really funny that one of the mechanics is, so what Gimli can do is he can break like blocks of ice with his axe. And then another thing is that another that like goes along with that like attack thing that he can do is if it's like up on a wall, another character has to throw him at it. And I just think that's it's so funny, but it's almost a little bit counterintuitive to Lord of the Rings, because his whole thing is, nobody tosses a dwarf. Yes. But you're doing it later, at least like 3 or 4 times.
Like, they do have that scene in the Battle of Helm's Deep where he's like, toss me. Yeah. Don't tell the elf.
Like, that could be like that would be a fun place to like introduce that mechanic for the first time.
Oh yeah.
But like being a fan of the movies, playing this now, I'm like, but nobody tosses a dwarf, and we're just tossing them all over the place.
I guess Lego Gimli is a lot less prideful, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Than real Gimli. He doesn't mind. If it's for the teamwork, he's all good.
Yeah. Also, I think I might be a little too used to have it, like, I kind of have my brain in the Last of Us mode, because there are multiple points here and in Moria where there are like skeletons, and I was kind of expecting to walk up and be able to like read a note that explains how they got in that situation, and then I was like, no, this is Lego Lord of the Rings.
They're just there.
There's not going to be like a suicide note in here. I definitely was starting to get a little overwhelmed by all of the characters and kind of being like flipping through all of them and being like, okay, which one of you is which, and like trying to find them easily.
A lot of back and forth, but especially in this level, like they want you to get used to it, I think. So they're always like, they have the doors with you have to be like one of the short characters to go through the doors, and then you have to be Legolas to shoot something, and then you have to be Gimli to break something. It makes it take a little bit longer when you're like, okay, I have to press the button, and then I have to like switch through
to someone else,
my circle, and then I have to switch to somebody else. Yeah. And then sometimes that person is like not where you need them to be. Like you've climbed up somewhere as Frodo, and you don't need Frodo, you need Sam. So then you have to switch to Sam, you have to do it again to get Sam up there. Like
the worst is when you like climb up and you're like, oh shoot, I need to be Sam, let me switch. And you switch, and then the character you were just playing as starts coming back to, I'm like, no, stay up there.
Stay there. Yeah, because they're like, they always want to follow who you are, the player one. Playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's helpful sometimes, and then really annoying
other times. Yeah. But again, I think these frustrations are part of the game, you know, part of the experience.
It's every in the original Lego Star Wars game, you couldn't do, when you were 2 players, it didn't split your screen. I'm not sure when they introduced that, but my brother and I would get into fights because like one of us would be trying to do something and like the other would be trying to do something else, but the screen, like we would get to the maximum extent of the screen and you like couldn't be on a different screen than the other player, and it was so frustrating. So I'm glad that they've slowly updated and like upgraded stuff like that to now it like splits the screen, but there's always going to be little things that Lego throws in to make it just a wee bit frustrating.
So speaking of frustrations, this is when I really started experiencing my first like true, not like rage moment, but being like, okay, so we get to the doors, the gates of Moria, and you have to, again, it's another thing where like you have to like look around for the puzzle pieces to like, I think there's like a couple missing parts of the door, and
and to burn the vines off of the door.
And I was playing as Legolas, and there's this part where you have to like jump up, and then you have to swing over to a pole, and then you jump up again, and then you have to like shimmy over to a thing, and then you drop down on a ledge. And this is where I tried so many times. You have to jump up and grab onto this pole that he'll like swing around. But the problem is that with this kind of a game, those things kind of just happen automatically. Like when Legolas jumps near this thing, he automatically grabs onto it. Yeah. So it's not in your control. The game has to prompt the action.
Yes. And you have to be in the exact right spot for it. And
and so I don't know how many times I did this, but I jumped off the ledge trying to grab onto the pole, and then I would fall all the way back down to the bottom.
No.
And then I would have to go through all of it again. And by far the worst part was shimmying across the little pole because it's so slow. Oh my god, it's like so slow.
You can't do it any faster. It won't let you.
And then I would drop down to the ledge, and then I would jump up, and he wouldn't grab onto the pole. And I did look up, this is when I did start looking up walkthroughs and and playthroughs, like, and being
what
like,
am I doing
something wrong? Am I supposed to be, I tried it from different angles. I tried where like I was hanging on to the rope thing, and then I jumped up, and I was like, maybe if I jump off of here, nope. If I get a running start, like do so many different things.
Oh yeah.
Losing my mind.
I had to look up walkthroughs for the Skywalker saga like so many times. And I played that like last year, like as an adult. There were many times that I just got stuck, and I was like, I cannot figure out what I'm doing wrong.
People who play video games without ever like checking a walkthrough,
I can't imagine.
Like, how did I play video games as a child?
I think you just like did it until you figured it out. Like I don't remember. I feel like we would get stuck and frustrated, and then we'd like give up and pick it back up again the next day.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I like Breath of the Wild. I lived on walkthroughs and Wikipedias, and
that's the kind of thing. We've talked about this before. Yeah, Breath of the Wild is the kind of thing where I'm like, how do people like
who figured this out?
Who figured it out?
Figured this out for the first time?
Who figured out where all freaking 900 Koroks are?
glad somebody did so that I didn't have to.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
I could just look at the map.
Also,
yeah.
so in my like recent, playthrough of it,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm just gonna like see how many Korok seeds I can find on my own, and then if I feel like I'm close to the total amount, then maybe I'll start looking it up.
Yeah.
And I thought this whole time that there was something. I thought it was like 450 or something, or 400.
Oh no!
And so I was getting to like 375, and
You're
I was like,
oh, I'm getting pretty close.
oh wow, I've actually
good.
got a lot. Okay, I'm gonna look up some maps and find the rest of them this way. There's 900 of them.
Yeah.
Jeez, I was like, nope, I'm not doing it.
I think I found around 400 or 500 organically, and then I used the interactive map to find the rest. And let me tell you, it gets real frustrating at the end when you've got all but like 10 and you're just trying to I had my map pulled up and I had the interactive map pulled up, and I was just going through like piece by piece, like trying to figure out like, okay, that one's there, I have that one's there. And because like it only shows you the Korok seeds on the most zoomed in on your map, like in the game. So it was painstaking. I only did it because I am like a crazy completionist. Like I just have to have 100%.
See, that's where I was trying to get to. I mean, not necessarily even on purpose, but I was like, I think just the way that I have naturally played this game, I'm almost going to 100% it. So why not, look up these like extra guides and go the full mile. And then I was like, oh no, I'm not.
It's a lot.
I'm not getting there.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I think it comes from playing Lego games because they make it so satisfying to get all of the things
with the little bar that's at the top of every level, and like when you
get like
the puzzles,
get all the coins, like I love collecting the mini kits because there's always like mini puzzles to unlock all the mini kits in the levels. So
yeah,
I think that's honestly where it came from.
Hidden stuff to do within each level where like you destroy 3 out of 3 flowers or something, and so like because the nature of the Lego game is that you destroy everything, you hit everything, because some of it breaks down and you have to construct it into it turns into a bridge or whatever,
stairs or
and so you never know when that's going to be a part of the level you're on, so you just destroy everything. The things you don't destroy, I mean the things that aren't useful just become coins, and so as you're running around like a maniac destroying everything, sometimes one of them will say 1 out of 4 and you're like, oh,
now I gotta go.
Well, I gotta look for the other
statues. Ones.
Yeah. So, where were? Oh, yeah, Moria. So you unlock the gate. The monster in the water, the Watcher,
grabs,
attacks. There's a couple moments with where you have to throw Gimli at him to like attack him.
You have to like wait till it hits the ground and then you chop its arm off.
Yeah, exactly. And then. Again, they're using all of they're using the actors like real like distressed noise. So the whole time you're playing this, Frodo, Elijah Wood's character, is like making like distressed Frodo noises. The entire time you're playing this level, and you're like, I'm coming, Frodo. Please just shut up. Like,
and
I'm
they'll
coming.
like throw little pieces of like repeated dialogue in during the battle. Yeah. Like whatever fight you're doing or whatever you're doing, there's like they add in like that aren't in cutscenes. Sometimes like if a cutscene ends or if like you've just done something, like a character will say something. That's
at one point when you're like you're trying to open the door, you have to like hit actually, I don't even know if that was a part of it. I just did it anyway, where you hit the tentacles that are sticking out of the lake, and then when you hit all 3 of them, Aragorn goes like, "Do not disturb the water," or whatever.
Yeah.
So then they go into Moria. You get the classic Gimli line, mine. And then they're in Balin's tomb.
Little Gimli cries about it.
Gandalf like takes his hat off kind of like in respect, and it falls like on Pippin's head, and he kind of stumbles over and falls down into the well. And then this was a playable moment where I was like, I'm getting annoyed because I like had the right parts, but it wasn't the right prompt yet to like put them together. And so I was like, oh, what am I doing wrong? And then like I would play as Aragorn and I would like go over to some area and I would like hit everything and nothing would happen. And then like I would come back again another time and magically like a chest would break apart. And I'm like, I literally just did that like 3 minutes ago. I just tried breaking apart this chest and nothing happened, you know? So you have to work together to get all the different pieces to put together like the crank on the well. Again, throughout this whole part, you're hearing like the echoing distress noises of Pippin. When he's down in the bottom of the well. Which when you're like when you're like struggling in a level and you're like, I'm getting there. I'm coming. Just calm down. It's going to be so aggravating. So you pull up Pippin and he, like we said earlier, he now has a bucket. Yay! Pippin has a thing
special power.
The goblins and the troll attack. This was a battle sequence where like it might have been me, it might have been user error, it might have been some glitches where like I was doing stuff, but the prompts like weren't appearing at the right moments. And so it was just like going on endlessly where like I'm running from this freaking troll. He's like swinging his little, I don't know, like whip around or whatever it was. Goblins are like getting in here and they're just like hacking you. Like anytime you turn around,
they're like more of them spawn.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of times I would switch to a different character and then that character would be like in the middle of fighting with a goblin, but it would still be like flashing and I didn't have control yet. And in that like 2 seconds that I'm waiting to get control of that character, it kills you. And I'm like, can you just like,
oh my God,
give me a minute to like take care of this? Like, geez. But it's like a cute little thing where, you know, you have to take turns playing as the different characters to do different stuff. Like Legolas has to jump up high to do certain things.
And then like you have
Merry
to
and Pippin
jump on the
like,
troll's back.
Yeah, they get like their little special moments where like they jump up on the troll's back and just like absolutely stab the heck out of them.
Yeah, but like a classic Lego fashion, everything is threes. Like every boss battle, everything you do is in threes. So whatever you do, you have to do it 3 times. So you have to jump on the troll 3 times,
then get Legolas to shoot. This was when it was really frustrating because I would be playing as one of the hobbits who's on top of the troll, and then it would show the prompt to shoot him in the head. So then I would switch to
and then
Legolas.
You have to switch to Legolas.
But then Legolas is at the
like
front
doing
of
something.
the room being attacked by goblins, and then I have
the
to
prompt
run
goes
back
away.
to the troll. Oh my God. Oh, jeez.
Yes.
So you defeat the troll. You're leaving the tomb. The fellowship theme comes in, you know, there's still even that like wide shot of them running, just like in the movie. There's a sequence where Gandalf is using his staff to have like a protective shell around them, and then I think it's another rule.
Yes, this is what the one I was talking about though, where it's like you do something and then it like you have to just do it again. So it's like you have to get 2 orcs and then you have to get like 5 orcs and then you have to get like 7 orcs. Yeah. And like you just then you keep walking as you do it. You're like, oh, I just keep killing orcs.
Yeah. And because there are, 8 other characters on the screen, and there are also all these, there are these like hordes of orcs.
It's very overstimulating.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't know where my character is.
There's friendly fire.
I don't know who he is. Where am I? Oh my God. Also super frustrating. Anytime I would like pull out Aragorn, I would have to like equip his sword for him. And I'm like, you're in Moria. You're Aragorn, son of Arathorn. You should have your sword equipped. Yes. Like, you're not just going to throw hands with orcs, okay? Like, I need, does he have, what's a sword? Whatever. It doesn't matter anymore.
I don't know the name. He doesn't have Anduril yet.
Anduril? That's it, yeah.
But that's not the sword. He doesn't have it yet. So, at least in the movie, I don't know. This is one thing, which, by the way, while we're talking about, like, movie book. One thing that I did notice that they changed about them from the movie is that Gandalf's sword glows around orcs, which it's supposed to because it was also forged in Gondolin, like Sting. But in the movie,
movies,
only Sting glows. And so I
always thought
touch.
that was a really random
I love
thing
that
anyway.
they thought of that. I was like, oh my gosh, they thought to make Gandalf's sword glow too, which they didn't in the movies. So I was like, oh,
yeah. It was really funny though, because the cutscene earlier with Bilbo was like, your sword will glow blue, and then the moment when they hear the goblins coming or whatever, they're like, Frodo, your sword, it's just kind of like shimmering, but it's not blue. And I'm like, you're a video game like Lego. This is a Lego video game. You can make it glow blue. Like, why didn't they do that if they specifically said?
Yeah, it's like white. It glows white. But I liked that they made Gandalf's glow too, because it's, it's supposed to.
Yeah, totally. This is then there's another little sequence where you have to you have to build a fire.
And you have to put the cogs in. Like,
Gandalf I think it's the opposite.
Lifts
you have
it
to
up with
put
his
out
magic.
a fire first, and this is when
his bucket comes in handy.
And I'm like, yes, of course. Famously, only Pippin has the ability to dump a bucket of water on fire.
Right. Yeah.
So then you move into the next phase of Moria, where they're like running down the stairs and like bridges are falling apart, and there are different mechanics where like you have to be a small character and like crawl down and make something fall forward. And
I think this is another instance where Gimli gets tossed.
Yeah. There's a lot of dwarf tossing. Yeah.
They, like throw him across the gap.
Yeah. And I'm like, but the whole point is that he doesn't want to be tossed. Whatever. Okay. And so then you progress and you get to the Bridge of Khazad-dûm. One of the most epic scenes of cinematic history. You have freaking Ian McKellen saying, "You shall not pause," and it's a Lego character saying it. It's so great.
Oh, yeah.
And he is, of course, tripped up by the Balrog and falls down. And this is where they make the very, interesting decision that you follow Gandalf down as he falls, into the abyss.
Yeah.
And this was
very
really
long
cool.
abyss.
This was super cool that you got, it was very, it was, really trippy, watching it, because he's falling down.
And you, dive.
And you have to dive down to speed up and catch his sword. And then you speed up and catch up with the Balrog. You hit him a couple times. And then
you fly off.
You fly up, and then you have to do that again 3 times, of course.
And then he'll spew at you, so you have to jump around on him to avoid getting hurt by
the
his
fire.
Yes. You jump on one of his arms and you hit him from that angle, and then you jump back and you hit him at that angle.
Yeah. And then shoot, I can't remember how that part ends, but I'm assuming I can't exactly remember, but they just kind of fade away, or it just goes back up.
Yeah, it goes when they're dropping, once Gandalf has kind of won that section. Yeah.
It goes back up to the Fellowship. And just a super interesting choice. So that little playable moment is technically how Two Towers movie starts off, with that kind of Frodo's, I guess it's led to, we're led to believe it's Frodo's having a nightmare or something. Right. Yeah, Gandalf fighting the Balrog is not something that I thought if you were going to fight the Balrog, I thought it would be on the bridge,
right?
As opposed to after him falling.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then again, the really intense, poignant Howard Shore score comes in as they're all leaving Moria and running away, and it's kind of the same scene from the movie, watching them all react, and and you're it's this very intense, sad scene, but again in Lego world. So there's still those little moments of levity when Merry is comforting Pippin. Pippin takes out an apple to eat while he's crying. Yeah. And then Legolas, Aragorn's we have to go to Lothlorien.
Yeah.
Let's go. And so that's as far as I have played right now. Oh, one more thing that I do need to mention is that at some point I was playing as Gimli and I like accidentally fell in the water, and then I was like, oh no, I need to be Legolas. And then I switched back to Legolas and jumped out of the water, but Gimli was still in the water and he drowned and died.
Oh my god.
But it was just even funnier because I was playing as Legolas and I like accidentally
let Gimli drown.
Caused Gimli to drown.
Stop. Oh,
but
no.
It's like those little moments where or like sometimes you turn around and like you accidentally hit
yeah,
you accidentally hit your friend.
You
with
friendly
your sword.
fire. Yeah.
So yeah, those like funny like user error moments where you're like, well, I messed up. Sorry about that.
It honestly shouldn't let you
drown.
It shouldn't let you kill your teammates, and that's actually something that they fixed in the Skywalker saga, like Star Wars.
Yeah.
There was something about the killing the kids, so now you can't like you can't kill any child character, like child Anakin. Like you can't kill him because people.
That's probably a good call. Good call. Yeah.
I'm like that should just be every character. Like there should be no friend.
Yeah,
like you should be able to kill your teammates.
They should just know that people are gonna like accidentally hit the wrong button all the time.
Or like there's a lot going on. There's orcs everywhere. Like yeah, you're gonna accidentally kill Aragorn a couple times.
Haven't we all accidentally stabbed Aragorn? Like. Well, Emily, thank you so much for joining me to discuss this game. I'm glad that again this came out 15 years ago, so I'm glad that people like still enjoy it, you know. I'll keep my fingers crossed with you though that they do some kind of special like re-release of it. I
want them
I feel
to
like if
port
they
it for the Switch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I feel like if they were going to do it, this would be the year because it's the 20th anniversary of Return of the King. So maybe that would be a good opportunity.
Or they could do like what the Skywalker saga did when they combined prequels, original trilogy, and sequels and combine, because I think the Lego Hobbit video game was never finished.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
They did never add the other movies. So I'm like, maybe they could do a revamp, redo it all, and just have it all be one, like Lord of the Rings, and have the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings and put it on the Switch. Please.
Just have it be one ginormous game all together.
Open, well, you can walk over every square inch of Middle Earth. It is all explorable.
Also, speaking of which, that reminds me that I am trying to get Shadow of Mordor going in my life, where I only have a PS3, so I've ordered a used copy of Shadow of Mordor, but I also might have been scammed because I ordered that like 2 weeks ago and it has yet to ship. If I got scammed, it was $8.
Fingers crossed.
So whatever. There's a good chance that this podcast might go from covering Lego Lord of the Rings right into Shadow of Mordor.
Or you could do the Gollum game's coming out in May.
I know,
you could do the Gollum game.
Yeah, so I bring up Shadow of Mordor because other friend of the pod, Christina Kahn, has told me, she's like, it's legitimately, I think, one of the best it's like my favorite video game ever. I love it so much. I think it's the best. I haven't
played it, so
I think it's the best open world game ever. And I was like, okay, so I was asking her, have you played Breath of the Wild?
Right.
Like, and she was like, oh, like open world element is like just as amazing.
That's some lofty claims.
I said, how does it compare to The Witcher 3, which also has which is more on par like tonally with Shadow of Mordor than say Zelda Breath of the Wild. Right. Very different, you know, aesthetics and tones.
Very much.
But she was like, yeah, I think it's better than Witcher 3. So very high ratings from Christina Kahn. So it really convinced me to be like, I would like to attempt to play it. So I definitely would love to keep covering the video games if that's something you listeners would like to hear in the coming future.
I would. I'm also I am also a listener. I've been going back in like past couple of weeks catching up on some of your like all the appendix episodes and stuff, and I actually messaged Justin, Freddie's roommate, about his episode because there's something he said and I was like, Oh my gosh, I totally agree with
He's
you. I never thought
the
about that.
best.
That was so good. And he was like, oh my God, you actually listened to my episode? I was like, yeah, I did.
We love Justin in
I
this
do.
house. I'm really sad because he's been one of my The Last of Us watch buddies. And so
Aw.
every Sunday we were texting, freaking out about it.
And now,
And then
it's
over. And I
It's
can't text him
sad.
about it.
I know.
Sad. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. Where can people find you on the internet?
Thanks for having me. I love coming and talking about silly aspects of Tolkien, more lighthearted. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, as if it still exists in America.
Right?
Yeah,
as we're speaking, like TikTok was just
There's like
banned in
a-
China or something, and the CEO was
Yeah.
talking to Congress or
Yeah,
something.
there's like
I
a
don't know.
hearing going on today. I haven't been able to listen to much of it because it's really frustrating because the old people don't even understand what Wi-Fi is. So we'll see, fingers crossed. But yeah, you can find me on all social medias at Silmaremily.
Wonderful. That's What I'm Talking About's cover art is by Vaishon Brandon. You can support him on Instagram at Vaishon Designs. You can get merch for That's What I'm Talking About by going to tpublic.com/user/talkingaboutpod. You can find the podcast on social media at talkingaboutpod, and you can find me on Twitter at MCWhatsup and on Instagram at MCTurndownForWhat. If you want to support the podcast, you can become a patron. Go to patreon.com/talkingaboutpod to explore the levels of support that are available. You can become a sponsor of the podcast like Dave. People out there, don't you want to be as cool and awesome as Dave is for being a sponsor of this podcast, for being a wonderful supporter? I think everyone should be more like Dave. Dave, you're wonderful. Thank you so much for your support. And as always, if you like what you're listening to, please make sure to rate and review. Do you have any parting words for the audience?
I highly recommend playing this game and all Lego games. I think they're so fun, lighthearted. Like I said, they do such a good job of adapting the mechanics and making it cute and fun and silly. So yeah, I'm glad we got to talk about this, and I hope this is a more exciting and fun episode than of Valerian and its realms.
And that's what I'm talking about.